Next, we welcome Jia Hyun, VP, Head of North America, Marketing Solutions for LinkedIn. Known as a marketing vet that drives growth, Jia has worked at LinkedIn, GE Capital, Citigroup, American Express, and MasterCard. She's also an enthusiastic amateur pickle artisan and loves dancing. Welcome, Jia.
Gia, if I had more time than 10 minutes, I'd be talking only about pickling because I find that amazing. First of all, how are you? And when you were posed with the question, where is the consumer's attention right now? How do you consume that and how do you articulate it? Thank you for being here.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me, and we can definitely do a full episode just on the art of fermentation. It's a must right now.
I think you and I are destined to do a wine and pickle pairing show.
I would love that. Yes, yes. I'm doing well. We are doing well. The business is actually doing really well. The platform is explosive in terms of both the volume of conversation that's happening on LinkedIn, but also the types and the breadth of conversations happening on LinkedIn. Yeah, I mean, it has been changing for years now. I've been at LinkedIn for 5 years, and when I first joined, there was the common understanding, or I would call misunderstanding, about LinkedIn that it's just a job site, or it's just a professional networking site, or it was just a place for people to do B2B marketing in a very, very niche way. And certainly jobs is an important part of the conversations that are happening on LinkedIn right now. There are a lot of people looking for jobs. There are a lot of companies that are looking to hire. There are a lot of people looking to upskill and really improve the trajectory of their careers during this time. And so that's still a really important part of what the conversation, the dialogues that are happening on LinkedIn are. And there are 700 million plus members on LinkedIn that are leaning into that particular part of the experience. And if you check out hashtag offering help, hashtag open to work, I encourage you to lean in and give and get help in that capacity. But that's just the very sort of obvious tip of the whole iceberg, because, when we talk about where the attention is going, we've known for a while internally at LinkedIn that every professional is a consumer. Every professional is a person who has their personal circumstances, and LinkedIn has always been a place where conversations between businesses and professionals happen every day. And some of it's about business solutions. Of course, it's about jobs, but it's about personal development. It's about what I need in my life to be successful tomorrow, today, what I need in my life that are solutions that are going to make my life more productive and easier. And,
I apologize for interrupting, because I'm just thinking about the constituents that are watching the show and how to extract value. Let me ask you a couple of questions, because I'm not sure if this is on your radar, but I've been screaming about LinkedIn's value for the last 3 years, from an organic nature and really from a media targeting nature. If you're in the B2B space, would people be shocked if they sell soap, if they sell workout, programs, if they sell hoodies, if they, do you think, I want to dig back into that because I want to bring value. Is it conversation within LinkedIn? I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but it's almost to me the Facebookification of LinkedIn, which is the broadness. Even when you were saying it, I kind of made this gesture. I am just blown away by how much wine, LinkedIn started as a utility. It was job life. Yeah. It is now a full-blown content ecosystem. And yes, you must factor in the psychology of a LinkedIn user when they're in a LinkedIn feed, which will be different than that same person being on TikTok. But the breadth of what you can do on the platform, for me today feels, I look at it the same way I look at Facebook or Twitter. Is that accurate? So are you seeing that? Is that being talked about?
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. But I will challenge you a little bit in terms of this sort of dividing line between what's B2C and B2B is not the way we're necessarily looking at it, because it's really about business to professional, right? Yeah. In an advertising sense, right?
But so when you talk about, for example, I apologize, when you can target by job title in a way that you can't anywhere else, my ability, if I'm selling a SaaS product, to target by people who hold the title as Chief Innovation Officer, right? And then create content for that, creates a unbelievable framework for B2B marketing that is different than I can do on Facebook or TikTok. So I can go broad on LinkedIn on consumer, but you have a substantial advantage in B2B marketing over the competitive landscape because of your targeting capabilities.
Yeah. I mean, the targeting, absolutely. The context, absolutely. The mindset that people bring to the platform, absolutely.
Well, those are big things.
Those are big things. And if you think about the conversations that used to happen that were sort of the provenance of boardrooms and the provenance of conference rooms that everyone thought was very different and distinct from conversations that happened at the water cooler or the cafeteria or in the hallways or during the commute, especially in the past year, those walls came down because literally all of those conversations are happening with the same people in one room in most instances. It's your kitchen table, it's your office, it's your bedroom.
I'm in my apartment right now doing business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, I apologize. Khalifa Y, who says, yeah, but the CPCs are too high. The reality is that's a creative game. The reason so many people struggle on LinkedIn or any other platform for that matter on their CPCs, because the CPAs are higher, the CPMs are higher when you get better targeting, is the creative more so than the targeting. Jia, do you think people have really struggled in a world where data and information have advanced in understanding that creative's still the variable? Like I can get in front of that CFO on LinkedIn, but if my picture, video, and information isn't good, nobody's buying anything. There's a trillion Gary V wannabes out there. The variable of the creative is the important part. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin touched upon this. Jim talked about it a little bit in terms of there's sort of shortcuts that we take in terms of measurement that are supposed to be proxies for something, but CPC is not a proxy for quality. CPC is not a proxy for the stickiness of the engagement or the value or the resonance of the message that you've landed with the consumer. And so I challenge the notion that, I think that on CPC alone, you're not going to know that you're creating resonance. You're not going to know that you're making an impact on that consumer.
I think that's right.
It's always quality over quantity. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jia, one more time.
It's going to be quality over quantity. Quantity is going to be important, and who doesn't love scale? But what scale without impact?
Jia, what about your own personal attention behaviors? Have you expanded your OTT lineup at home? Maybe there's some good pickling somewhere.
While the fermentation is happening in the basement, I'm probably oversubscribed on the streaming side. And then I think where I'm active is LinkedIn, where I'm active is Instagram. And then I've got my TikTok feed going in my peripheral vision because I got to watch my kids. And then Twitter, I'm passively and actively consuming. So that's kind of all happening in tandem. But, I think the thing that just going back to, as these walls are coming down in terms of what is appropriate or what was really uniquely suited to this particular environment versus the other, because we're seeing this incredible convergence happening on our platform, we're super excited about launching stories where, stories is not a new format. It's a format that everyone's familiar with in other platforms, but this idea that we kind of all miss those moments in the office, if you will, where you said, hey, check this out. Look what's happening right now. Look what I'm doing right now. Look what I just learned. That kind of thing that we're able to do on LinkedIn through the stories format is really exciting, particularly in this particular point in time. And then, live and events. I mean, we're doing this live streaming on LinkedIn right now. It's an incredibly exciting development because here again, we're bringing down the walls. I mean, there was a time where participating in a conversation like this and having a front row seat to a conversation like this required you to travel, required you to find room capacity, and there was so much logistics involved. And some events were just not accessible to everybody. So having live as a feature on the platform, and then the ability to bring a bunch of events functionality around that, where we can get individuals and businesses the ability to bring people in, invite them, showcase the content live, and then and then give them the ability to actually have pull through on that after the live event. That's something that I think is very relevant and so important to, making this conversation accessible to everybody.
Jia, I really appreciate your time. Continued success. Thanks for being on.
Thank you so much.